Ooh-wee, YNW Melly might actually be coming home. Yes, YNW Melly might be coming home. But I'm not saying he is coming home as in he won the case. I'm saying he might be coming home to enjoy some of the same freedoms that his co-accused, Bartland Henry, has going on. Right? So YNW Melly might be coming home, y'all, on bail. I said it before, they might give him bail, but in this video, we're going to talk about what just happened, the new update, and why I think he might not get bail. Now remember, this is just my opinion, even though I still think he might get bail. So there's an article that just new developing news says that rapper YNW Melly is asking for a bond hearing while he awaits his double murder trial. The 24-year-old, whose name is Jamel Demons, has been behind bars in Broward County since surrendering to authorities in February of 2019. He's been in there for quite some time. A lot of his fans are outraged. Damn, why they got that man locked up so long? And then they took it to trial, and almost 5 years later, they got a mistrial. Let that man out. Let him out. Let him experience some freedom. Let him be able to fight this case from home. Rapper YNW Melly is now hoping that a Broward judge will consider releasing him on bond while he awaits the retrial in this double murder case. Attorneys for YNW Melly on Tuesday filed a motion to have a hearing held to determine whether he should be released from jail on bond. So basically what they did was they put in the paperwork, which is like a request, so they can go before the judge again. And this time the hearing would be to ask the judge for bond. And they will have to present a case saying, this is why, judge, we think that he should be out on bond. We'll get into that in a minute, right? The judge will consider it, and then the prosecution will say, this is why we think he should not be released on bond. And we're going to talk about that. The motion that was filed on Tuesday argues that YNW Melly's co-defendant, Bartland, who is facing the same charges, he was already granted bond. So why can't YNW Melly get the same thing since they're facing the same charges and it's the same case? It also argues that although the rapper is charged with a non-bondable offense, the judge still has discretion to grant bond. That's what it says in the law books. The law says a murder or double homicide, it's non-bondable, meaning you ain't getting out on no bond. But a judge has a right to his discretions, meaning the judge, it's up to the judge to say, yeah, I think he'll do good on bond. He won't run away. He won't intimidate witnesses. He won't tamper with evidence. He won't do anything to jeopardize this case. He'll just go home and spend time with his family and be a good citizen until we go to trial. Now, everybody knows this, that he's accused of shooting and killing two of his childhood friends, Christopher Thomas Jr. and Anthony Williams, which is Juvie and Sack Chaser, and that happened in October of 2018. October of 2018. They were all a part of the YNW collective. YNW Melly, Williams, and Thomas were riding in a vehicle, a Jeep, which we saw them all get into on camera as they left the studio, driven by YNW Bartland or Cortland Henry after a recording session in Fort Lauderdale when, according to prosecution, Melly was the one who fatally shot and killed Williams and Thomas. Authorities said that Demons and Henry staged the crime and made it to look like it was a drive-by shooting. But ballistics evidence, bullet trajectory, science testing, all that other stuff proves that it was not a drive-by shooting. Therefore, this is a murder case. Henry is charged as an accomplice in the case, but he will still be tried separately from YNW Melly. You know, they went to court and they did play around with it for a minute. Should we try both of them together, right? The judge says, nah, we ain't trying both of them together. Well, his attorneys, YNW Melly's attorneys, said, we don't want them tried together because our client's facing the death penalty. His accused, his co-accused, is not facing the death penalty. And the judge says, well, in a case like that, you would have to have two separate juries, 12 for Melly, 12 for Bortland. And I'm not doing that kind of complicated mess, right? So let's just keep it where it's at. Of course, we now know that if the prosecution decides we're going to take the death penalty off the table, then that would leave way for the judge now to be able to say, well, they're both facing the same charges now, so we don't need two juries now. All we need is just the 12. So let's go ahead, try them together, wrap this thing up, and get it out the way. The retrial for Melly is set to begin October 9th with jury selection. So I was under the impression that they were already selecting jury in this whole time that we haven't heard anything. And by the time October 9th comes around, that would be the first day of trial. But according to this new release, I don't know if it's a mistake, but they said it will begin October 9th with jury selection. That means the actual first day of court won't start until they have settled on who the 12 new jury members are going to be. As we all know, during his first trial, the prosecutor said that the shooting was part of a gang action, while defense attorneys said that the motive lacked credibility because he was really good friends, close with those guys. So you just saying he killed them just to get into a gang or to show some kind of affiliation or loyalty to a gang, that makes no sense. You got to come with a stronger motive than that. There are other side motives out there, like money, right? And a battle between YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Melly in what looked like a power struggle. Remember, it was a time when Sack Chaser said, this whole YNW thing, that's mine, right? And I'm just letting you be the lead man. But I ain't going to be running behind nobody for the rest of my life and all that, right? Demings, of course, pleaded not guilty. He stood up in court. He told the judge he wasn't going to testify either, take the stand in his own trial. He's still facing a death sentence if he is convicted, unless by the time we go to court for his retrial, the prosecution has removed the death penalty from the case. So, as this stands, the new update is that his team, his lawyers, they just filed for a motion to go before the judge again to see if they can get him out on bond. Here is why I think, though, that YNW Melly is not going to be released on bond. If y'all look at the YSL case down in Georgia with Young Thug and them, Young Thug was denied bond 5 times, man. 5 times. Right. And here's the reason what the judge gave then in the Young Thug case. The judge says he's under the impression that Young Thug could be a danger to the whole case. He has the power to go around or send people out there, cause some shots, have some witnesses disappear, tamper with some evidence, all that. He might not be a flight risk, but he can affect the case in a way that we don't want him to affect the case. And based on that, we consider him also a danger to the community. So we're just going to keep him here until we go to trial. Same thing applies to YNW Melly. The judge is going to look at this and said, first of all, this is a non-bondable offense. And I know, of course, they're saying, so how come Cortland Henry got bond if it's a non-bondable offense, Remember, they're being tried in two separate cases, right? And also remember, Cortland Henry is pretty much being tried as an accomplice, not as the main shooter. They have YNW Melly facing the death penalty because they believe, according to all their evidence that they've gathered, that he is the one that pulled the trigger, actually took the lives of those two friends. So that's one. For two, he already has a history with law enforcement. Y'all know his history. Y'all know the school shooting or shooting nearby the school or whatever that was, and other run-ins with the law from before. Not only that, the judge will also now say he has enough money and he has enough clout to get in touch with YNW Bortland, where they can concoct something else, or even intimidate YNW Bortland if he decides that he was going to roll over in his trial when his trial comes, or anything like that. As you know, they are not allowed to be in contact with each other. The judge can also say, hell, he could be a flight risk. His lawyers will argue back and say, Judge, at this point, this kid is now world famous, okay? Everybody knows who YNW Melly is now. His face cannot hide. So, him being a flight risk, where's he going to go? If he goes anywhere, he's going to have to hide there forever, right? But, of course, the prosecution is going to say he could be a flight risk. He could be out here sending out threats, using his associated gang members to call shots like, go over there and check this person, make sure this witness disappears, make sure this witness never testifies again. Go find Glass. Remember Glass, Mr. Glass, that testified in the red jacket that YNW Melly never got out of that gray Jeep, that he stayed with the gray Jeep and he never got into that red SUV that they were driving? Right. His testimony basically seals the case. What if they want to go find him and do something to him? He disappears, comes up dead or something before trial. In other words, then, I think that the judge is going to look at it and say, although the law allows me to use my discretion to say if he should get bond or not, I'm still going to say this is a non-bondable offense. And I'm going to reserve my option to bond him out. And I'm going to say he still needs to stay locked up in jail. Some people are going to say, hey, let him out, man. It's been too long. Let the man fight this from home. You know, of course, easy to say, but you got to see the legal side of things. If he does get out on bond, he is no longer behind bars. So he will have some kind of freedom to get in touch with some people, and he could impact the case. It's a possibility. And once the judge looks at that and sees that, man, that's a possibility of that happening, the judge doesn't want to jeopardize that. No judge wants to jeopardize and then throw away a double murder case. Remember what was said in court, right? Remember all the evidence that was shown in court. It might not be the smoking gun, but it's some strong digital evidence, video, photo, / electronic evidence / ballistic evidence. All that evidence points to YNW Melly being the person who pulled the trigger in a double homicide. This is not to be taken lightly. This is still a double homicide case where two young men lost their lives, and justice needs to be served, and it is the responsibility of the state to give justice to the victims and to their families. So I don't think they're going to take this lightly, and I don't think the judge is going to grant him bail. But if he does, just remember that I said it was a possibility that it could happen, meaning I'm not hard lined with this. Any way it goes is a possibility. I don't think the judge is going to give it, but I think there's a possibility that he might get it, depending on what his attorneys go in there and say. And if they make a good case, better than the prosecution's case as to why he should stay in, then he will be out. So we're going to stay close to this one. We're going to see what's going on. And let's not forget, YNW Melly just made changes to his legal team. And although one person is gone, which was the black dude, although he is gone, this new attorney that he has, oh, this is his playing field. This is his grounds. This is what he is known for. With decades of experience under his belt, he has beaten multiple death penalty cases already. So he's coming in like a champ with something under his belt. So let's see what tricks he pulls out of the bag when they go to court before the judge to have this bail hearing. It's a motion that was filed, but the motion can also be rejected, right? So we'll see how this one goes. He might be coming home. He might not. Regardless, his trial starts soon. I'll catch y'all on the next video, man. It's Hot Topics TV. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.